Greetings from Nairobi. It's a beautiful morning. Happy new month. This is Lydia Njero, your sociologist. And speaking of new month, October is Diversity Awareness Month globally. And if you know me, you are probably expecting us to have this conversation. So we are going to be talking about diversity, inclusion, and the relationship between these two, and probably check how we are doing as individuals, as an organization, if you are in government, as a county government, or as a nation. So let's go for diversity. This refers to the unique differences that make us different from each other. I'm talking about age, gender, disability, or otherwise. I'm talking about ethnicity, tribe, race, anything, culture that you think can make you different from the other person. That's what diversity is. Inclusion, on the other hand, is the measure of how respective we are of our unique differences and whether we are non-discriminative. To bring these concepts closer home, you have probably heard about White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I believe all lives matter. You have heard about rights of persons with disability. You have heard about respect for religion. In Kenya, it's about tribe, that it doesn't matter whether you Luo, Kamba, Kikuyu, or Embu like me, everybody counts. So that's what inclusion is about. But what is the connection or relationship between diversity and inclusion? It's very simple, and one depends on the other. So diversity, like I said, is the individual characteristics that make us unique or different from one another. Inclusion, on the other hand, is the measure of how respective we are of what is different from us and whether we do not discriminate based on people's different characteristics. So inclusion is achieved once you respect that people are different from each other and therefore offer equal opportunities to everybody. Let's now look at the different types of inclusion. There are three basic types that cover everything that we can think about in non-discrimination. We have social inclusion, which has a lot to do with offering people the space they need to air their opinions and to be heard. It has a lot to do with involvement of everybody in decision making. Number two, economic inclusion, which refers to non-discrimination in allocation of resources, in capacity development initiatives, in job opportunities. And I'll give an example here, especially in the Kenyan context. If you are economically inclusive as a government or as an organization, it means that your recruitment procedures give everybody equal opportunity to get employed regardless of their age. You won't say that this one is too young or too old to perform at a certain job. Regardless of their religion, we know there are some communities that are stereotyped as terrorists, that's exclusion. So economic inclusion means fair allocation of resources, economic opportunities, basically anything that allows people to earn a livelihood. The last one, but not the least, is spatial inclusion, which has a lot to do with enabling of fair access to services and spaces. And the people who suffer spatial exclusion the most are persons with disability. I have been to offices, even government offices in Kenya, where a person on a wheelchair cannot access a government office. That is spatial exclusion. It comes as a result of designing infrastructure or buildings that does not take care of the needs of, for example, the physically challenged, the blind, and such. So the three types of inclusion: social inclusion, economic inclusion, and spatial inclusion. As I wind up this month, of course, we cannot talk about awareness without learning a few things, and I believe we have learned what diversity is, what inclusion is, what the three types of inclusion are, and the relationship between diversity and inclusion. But my call to you as an individual, a family, a government even, as a nation, as an organization, is to do a self-audit. When you look at your processes or your operations every day, would you say you are inclusive? And inclusivity here has to be all around, because oftentimes exclusion in one area leads to exclusion in many other areas, which then, if you're not looking at inclusion holistically, then you will not be able to be fair. So this is a call to self-audit. Would you say you do not discriminate against people based on their age, based on their gender, based on their skin color, based on the texture of their hair, based on their religion, or where they come from, or the political ideologies they subscribe to? Would you say you are fair? So check yourself. As a parent, look at, are you the type of parent that tells your children that you should not play with the neighbor's kid because they have a disability? It starts from at home. Because if you're telling your kid that a kid with disability is different, so you should look down on them, then they will carry that to adulthood, and they will be the CEOs discriminating against the same group in future. So that cycle goes on and on. So look at yourself, and a key take home from this is that for me, before we were anything else, we were first human beings. So youth, elderly, baseline human being. White, black, human being. Whether you're a Catholic like me, or a Buddhist, or whatever supernatural being you believe in, before all that, human being. Are you a professor or someone with no formal education at all? Baseline, we are all human beings. So this is a call to respect diversity, because it is only through respecting what is different from what we know that we are able to achieve inclusion. So that's all from me for now. If you'd like to take this conversation further, feel free to reach out to me. I have been Lydia Njairu again, your sociologist. Thank you.